says I'm live. I hope I'm here. um, oh man, I don't know what I just did. Okay, I'm here. Welcome back to another episode of The Wind Down with Yana. I am your host, and I'm beyond happy to be here tonight because it has been a really long time. The last time I was here live was April 16th. Insane. That is way too long. Like, we are literally at holiday time, and I'm just now going live again. But it was a lot going on. I was literally, yeah, going through it. But you know what? We're going to get started with the wine first. I have a Pinot Noir Rosé, 12.5%. I got this for my birthday. I don't recall who gave it to me because at that time I was going through a lot since my birthday. So I just figured, you know what? We are going to go ahead and pour some of the wine that I already have and go from there. I've never had a Pinot Noir rosé, so this is interesting. Smells good. I don't know why my hand's like that either. Y'all, it's been so long. I have no clue. I mean, I had episodes come out that were pre recorded, but it's always different being live versus pre recordings. So, oh, that is good. So, to my friends, whichever one of you guys gave me this selection, amazing. I am really happy with this one. I hope I don't drink the whole bottle tonight. This is definitely good. If you're here, just say hi in the comments so I know you're here and I can acknowledge you. Um, but yeah, so the last time I went live, I was in the thick of a storm, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything felt heavy. I was just trying to stay as grounded as possible for myself and my son, to where he wasn't affected by what I was going through. And there were days where I felt like I was breaking inside. And I'm quite proud of myself. But now that I've walked through it, I can see what this storm was trying to teach me. I have a little more of this wine. Um, this wine actually fits very well for tonight's episode. It's soft, bold, light enough to remind you that sweetness still exists, but layered enough to remind you that depth can be beautiful too. So it's a perfect wine for tonight because it's giving grace after growth. Um, when everything started unraveling, um, especially my sense of stability, it felt like failure. There were days that um, I felt like I was being punished, even though I didn't do anything per se, but I was being punished for something. I don't know what, but I felt like I was being punished. And my support system was really pivotal during this time. When I tell you the way they encouraged me and rallied over me when I would have those moments of brokenness. It was everything that I needed. Um, Over time, I realized that God wasn't punishing me and I was being redirected. I had to be stripped of everything that I knew, I guess you can say, um, and rebuild. And when I say rebuild, it was literally mentally, physically, emotionally. I lost a lot of weight during this time. And that's not a bad thing because now I want to keep it off. I want to, now I'm like, okay, now I can hit my target back to where I was. I ain't going to say what that number is because, yeah, but it makes me want to get back down to my target size where I did feel a lot more confident. But I did notice that my clothes were starting to fit differently as well. But I wasn't being, punished for anything. I just needed to, I guess you can say, take the blinders off and see the naked truth. um, I genuinely thought I was losing everything, my mind, my hope, everything. But it positioned me for peace. It forced me, it was a very humbling experience because it did force me to meet the version of myself that I needed to become to be a better person. And it's humbling. You have to let go of, your ego, your pride, things of that nature to really come out of it. And it took time because I feel like at certain points of the lessons that I needed to go through, I kind of fought it because I was inflexible on certain things. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And I know that may sound crazy because I did, on April 16th, explain exactly what I was going through and, you know, where I was mentally and emotionally. But I'm happy that I went through it. Um, Through this, underneath the pain, I was able to learn myself, without being in, I guess you can say, survival mode. Survival mode. I don't know why I got tongue tied with that one. And that version of me is a little bit softer. I am definitely a lot wiser, a little more grounded than I was. Hey, thank you. I hope you have something in hand while you're watching. um, Wiser, grounded. I know my worth now, and becoming who I am has been, one of the biggest lessons. Uh, I had to learn that healing wasn't graceful. Uh, it looks like rest, it looks like tears, it looks like starting over. And there were nights where I cried in silence after putting my baby to bed because there were days I couldn't even fake strength. I would have breakdowns at work, just like randomly, I'd start crying. And I would have to leave and go take a break so I could walk and just get it out. But in those moments, I was healing. Healing isn't always pretty, it's not always loud. It's, the quiet choices that you make day in and day out. I had to make a decision to work, consistently. No, I didn't pour a lot. It is a big glass, and I didn't pour a lot because I wasn't sure how I was going to like it. But I actually like this wine. I have a Pinot Noir rosé, and it is amazing. I don't know who bought me this wine, but it's one of my birthday gifts. And kudos to whichever friend bought me this one. Love it. But I did. I faked joy sometimes. And my therapist was telling me it's not a bad thing to fake it sometime, because then I'm retraining my brain to feel that joy. Uh, I realized that my faith was fragile as well because I was not trusting anymore. I was hurt. I was genuinely hurt and I was going through it and I felt like I was being punished. So my faith was fragile. And as a human, it's hard to, trust that God is working behind the scenes to get things done. Um, and somewhere along the way, I just stopped surviving in the storm and I learned how to dance in the rain. And that's when life shifted for me, because life does not stop because of, heartbreak, hardship, things of that nature. You still got to go to work. If you have kids, you still got to take care of them. You got to take care of yourself. Bills still got to get paid. Life goes on. So this storm taught me that I can still laugh, I can still love, I can still live even when things are not perfect. And I'm so grateful for that. Um, there's something sacred about finding joy in the middle of chaos. And it wasn't until it was after my 3-year anniversary because I was still very fragile during that time, but I still celebrated myself. And literally the day before, I had a situation that just had me beyond stressed out. Well, not all bills got to be paid, light bill. No, for real. There are some bills where you just like, let me think about that. But I still was thugging through. I'm always say I'm a thug, but there are some people that will deny that. But I'm a thug. I just got to cry a little bit first. Uh, and yeah, my 3-year anniversary, I celebrated it, but I almost didn't, and I almost wasn't gonna show up. And then my friends are like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I went, and I had a good time. And I'm glad that I did because it's still an accomplishment, even though I was going through a lot, a lot, a lot. And even now that I've hit where I'm at now, I still, will have moments where I'm like, and I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. I was so excited the other day because I got my first good night of sleep. This is an accomplishment, guys. I got my first good night of sleep without having to take any sleep medicine. And I only woke up once to go to the bathroom and I was able to go right back to sleep. And I slept until I think like 7:45. So that right there showed me that, okay, I'm starting to feel the peace of all the stuff that I went through. Um, yeah. So that was another lesson I had to learn. Um, boundaries. I lacked, and I still sometimes teeter the line on having good, healthy boundaries because boundaries are not, meant to be mean. They're not meant to be, what is the word? Boundaries are not for other people. Boundaries are for yourself, knowing what you need to do to protect yourself. And I hate when people like to use some of these terms to manipulate situations, I guess you can say. Like for me with my boundaries, there are certain things where I'm just like, okay, if I don't want to do it, I'm just not going to do it. Or I don't think that, there's certain things that I need to do to make myself seem like I'm tough or have it together, whatever you want to call it. But I know what I need to do to protect myself, protect my heart, protect my mental, stability at this point. And I'm proud of that. So boundaries are not punishment, they're protection and for yourself. I learned how to love without losing myself. And that was hard because I give so much of myself, like so much to the point where then I feel angry and, you know, resentful. And it's not, someone else's fault. It's just like, okay, well, you're giving, but you can't expect, certain things. And I became a person that I did not like to look at times. Good. I hope you're proud of yourself today. So pour a drink because I'm definitely going to finish this tonight. And I'm proud of myself for the things that I did. I have boundaries, for all sorts of things now. And this version of me fought to heal. I fought myself. I fought, people that knew me, that were in my corner and telling me, oh, you need to change X, Y, and Z to an extent as well, because in my mind, it's coming from a good place. However, sometimes when it comes from a good place, that does not mean you're doing the right things. And when I had to, that's funny. You know what? This last week, I've been proud most nights. So within the last, I want to say 10 days, I've been proud at least five. So that's a good thing. There are a couple nights I just fell asleep. So it is what it is. And then, funny story, I think it was Monday. I went to go open up a bottle of wine and the corkscrew broke, like legit broke while I was trying to open the wine. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And I was so like, I really wanted that wine to be open. But like the cork part, the screw part that goes in the cork is still in the cork. I was so wanting that wine that I took some tweezers and was trying to open the wine. I'm like, girl, you're not getting anything out of here. But I do have another corkscrew now. So that wine will get drank at some point this week, hopefully with a meal pairing to go with it. Um, uh, where was I? Ah, I hate when I lose my train of thought. But I definitely, yeah, I was being very stubborn, and now I don't fight it because the people that care about you are going to, not in a mean way, because you can be honest without being, unkind, or yeah, unkind. So the people that cared about me, would tell me, okay, yes, maybe you did have a good intention when you did X, Y, and Z, or said X, Y, and Z. However, your delivery was not good. So maybe try, this and that. And the more I ah, the more I soften my heart, the more receptive I was to, hearing those things. So that was one of the biggest lessons, and it's changing how I show up in every part of my life now. So I'm definitely happy for that one. And gratitude. I'm very grateful, especially to my son who drives me crazy and screams 6, 7 quite a few times a day. And, he kind of was my biggest motivation to keep going, because he was living this storm with me, and his joy reminded me that love exists even when life feels uncertain. His spirit was, it was a good motivation. And to be completely honest, I don't know if I would have made it without completely breaking, if it wasn't for having to be strong for him. To my friends and family who poured in me when I did not have anything to pour in myself. Let me tell you, there were nights where I just I didn't have it. I just did not have it. I was at a negative, like the glass was dry, and there was nothing in sight. And, those small moments where you get the random text or, someone, saying, hey, let's do this, or what are you doing now? That carried me through. And I'm grateful. I'm like, there are not enough words to say I'm grateful because I am grateful for, the people that poured into me. Like I said, my friends, my family, and it's not the circle is not as big as people would think it is, but it's big. It's big. They allowed me to grow in real time with no filter, no, you know, there wasn't a limit to how much love that they would give me. And I appreciate that because I was able to be vulnerable. I was able to get the help that I needed on the days that I needed. So I love that. And I appreciate how they let me see that healing isn't linear. I can honestly say I am not the same woman that I was the last time I went live. I'm not the same woman that I was the last time I posted an episode. And I'm very proud of myself for, finding, joy in everyday life, for understanding that I needed to, go through this to make some changes for myself, in myself, and my happiness. And I am happier. And so I noticed soon as I changed my attitude and changed, a lot of things that um, everything else started changing. I would have people, say the right things at the right time. And I don't know if they knew it was the right thing to say, but it was what I needed to hear in those moments. I think one of the biggest ones was when I was so excited for something to happen. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. One of the biggest, reminders that I got was delayed is not denied. And that just was like, yes, yes, delayed is not denied. And it's not the end of the world. It did not break me, even though I felt like I was breaking when it was happening. But it's been great. It's been great. And I'm not gonna cry, even though I felt it coming. But I'm a thug. So I'm gonna suck up them tears. So tonight I am not drinking to the pain. I am toasting to my peace and my joy and the lessons that humbled me. Like, yo, I was not this perfect little princess that I thought I was. And I needed to see that. And I needed to understand from a whole different level of understanding. And the strength that has come through this storm is has built a woman that I can be proud of, that my friends, my family can be proud of. So here's to dancing in the rain and remembering that even in the darkest clouds, life still goes on and life is beautiful. Uh, Cheers to resilience, redirection, and every new beginning that starts off in the rain. And it's going to rain tomorrow in California. And I hope it rains when I'm not driving. But thank you all to have been a part of this journey with me and helping mold me. And I appreciate you being on this journey with me. So, here's to you guys. And have a good night because I will be back next week with another bottle of wine and a new topic. Maybe even a guest. I don't know. We'll see. But now I'm going to finish my wine in my big ass glass, as JB pointed out. Cheers and good night, everyone.